Imagine our Earth wrapped in a delicate, invisible blanket. This blanket is our atmosphere, a precious layer of gases. It keeps our world at just the right temperature for life to flourish. It traps some of the sun's heat, like a greenhouse on a cold night. For millennia, this natural process maintained a beautiful balance. Forests grow, oceans teem with life, humanity thriving. But now this gentle balance is being disturbed. We're making that blanket thicker, causing the planet to warm more than it should. This slow, steady warming is climate change, a subtle yet profound shift in the Earth's long-established patterns. The primary reason for this change lies in our own activities. For over a century, our industries, our vehicles, and our power plants have been releasing vast quantities of gases, particularly carbon dioxide, into the air. Every time we burn fossil fuels for energy, coal, oil, gas, we add more heat-trapping gases into the atmosphere. This relentless pollution acts like a one-way door for heat, letting sunlight in but preventing excess warmth from escaping back into space. The result is a gradual but cumulative increase in the planet's average temperature, a fever that is beginning to show its symptoms across the globe. The warming of our planet is not some distant, abstract threat. It is a present and urgent reality, and its consequences are being felt in every corner of the world. We see it in the historic wildfires that have ravaged landscapes from Australia to North America, fueled by hotter, drier conditions. We see it in the unprecedented heat waves that scorch cities across Europe and Asia, putting vulnerable populations at risk. We see it in the powerful hurricanes. We see it in the powerful typhoons that are becoming more intense and destructive, fueled by the extra energy in warmer ocean waters. These are not isolated incidents. They are the clear and consistent signs of a planet under duress, a global system struggling to cope with the rapid changes we have imposed upon it. For an island nation like Sri Lanka, nestled in the heart of the Indian Ocean, the impacts of climate change are particularly acute and deeply personal. The very coastline that has nurtured communities for generations is now under threat. Rising sea levels, a direct consequence of melting glaciers and the thermal expansion of seawater, are slowly eating away at the island's beautiful beaches. This coastal erosion not only threatens homes, threatens hotels, threatens critical infrastructure, but also contaminates freshwater sources with salt water, affecting agriculture and drinking water supplies. The rhythm of life, so closely tied to the sea, is being fundamentally altered, and communities are facing a future of uncertainty and displacement. Furthermore, the predictable patterns of the monsoons, which have governed Sri Lanka's agricultural calendar for centuries, are becoming increasingly erratic. The country now finds itself swinging between two extremes: devastating floods and prolonged droughts. Intense, short bursts of rainfall overwhelm rivers and reservoirs, leading to catastrophic flooding and landslides that wash away homes, crops, and livelihoods. In other seasons, the rains fail to arrive at all, plunging vast regions into severe drought, withering paddy fields, and creating immense hardship for farming communities who depend entirely on a stable climate for their survival. This volatility makes it incredibly difficult for people to plan, to plant, and to provide for their families. This is a story being repeated across the globe, each with its own local tragedy. In the Pacific, entire island nations like Kiribati, Tuvalu face the existential threat of being completely submerged by the rising ocean. In parts of Africa, desertification is expanding, turning once fertile land into dust and forcing millions to migrate in search of food and water. In the Arctic, the ancient sea ice, a vital habitat for polar bears, seals, is disappearing at a shocking rate, disrupting an entire ecosystem. The evidence is all around us. Climate change is a shared global crisis, a challenge that connects the fate of a farmer in Sri Lanka with that of a fisherman in the Arctic. In the face of these immense challenges, Sri Lanka is not standing idle. There is a growing recognition from the highest levels of government to the grassroots of local communities, that action is not a choice, but a necessity. The nation has begun to weave climate resilience into its very fabric of governance. One of the most significant steps has been the establishment of a comprehensive national adaptation plan. This is not merely a document, it is a strategic roadmap to prepare the country for the unavoidable impacts of climate change. It focuses on protecting vulnerable sectors like agriculture, health, water. It ensures Sri Lanka can better withstand the shocks of floods, droughts, rising seas. This national commitment is being translated into tangible action on the ground. Recognizing the crucial role that forests play, Sri Lanka has embarked on ambitious reforestation, mangrove conservation programs. Mangroves are particularly vital for an island nation. Their tangled root systems act as a natural barrier, absorbing the energy of storm surges and protecting coastal communities from erosion. Projects along the coastlines are restoring these green walls, safeguarding homes, reviving critical habitats for marine life. These efforts represent a powerful shift towards working with nature to build a more secure and resilient future for the island. The government has also taken steps to curb the sources of the problem by promoting renewable energy. Blessed with abundant sunshine, wind, Sri Lanka is making a determined push to transition away from its reliance on fossil fuels. New solar parks are beginning to dot the landscape. Wind farms are harnessing the monsoonal winds. These initiatives are part of the country's climate pledges, the nationally determined contributions, committing Sri Lanka to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. This transition is good for the planet, promises greater energy independence and cleaner air for citizens. While national policies and large-scale projects are absolutely essential, the battle against climate change will be won through the collective power of individual actions. Every person in Sri Lanka can contribute to a healthier planet, multiplied across millions. That impact is profound. One practical change is how we travel. Electric scooters, three-wheelers, electric cars. Each one reduces fossil fuel reliance and cleans city air. For short trips, walk, cycle, use public transport. Daily consumption matters. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Cut landfill waste and methane. Say no to single-use plastics. Carry a reusable water bottle. Compost kitchen scraps. Be mindful of energy use at home. Switch off lights and appliances. Choose energy-efficient LED bulbs to lower electricity demand. Plant a tree. A joyful, tangible action. Plant a fruit tree at home. Join community reforestation projects. Trees absorb CO2, provide cooling shade, support local biodiversity. They're a living gift to future generations. Imagine every family planting one tree, a greener, cooler, more resilient island. Use your voice. Talk to friends, family, neighbors about protecting our island. Support sustainable businesses. Encourage others. Join local environmental groups. Advocate for stronger climate policies in our communities and at the national level. Change comes from conversation and collective demand. Every added voice makes climate action harder to ignore. United individual choices become an unstoppable force for good. As we stand here in 2025, it is clear that the challenge of climate change is the defining test of our generation. The science is unequivocal, and the evidence of a warming world is all around us. Melting ice of the poles, threatened coastlines of Sri Lanka. It can be easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of the problem. Our individual efforts a tiny drop in a vast ocean. But remember the extraordinary power of collective action. Every great movement began with the dedication of a few, which then inspires the actions of many. Sri Lanka is already showing the world what is possible, turning vulnerability into strength. From restoring mangrove forests, to harnessing the power of the sun, to harnessing the power of the wind, charting a course toward a sustainable and prosperous future. Economic development, environmental protection, not opposing forces. Two sides of the same coin, a beacon of hope, leading with courage, innovation, and commitment to preserving natural heritage.